Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's time for Coffee Ann on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us on Thursday morning, a wet Thursday morning, May 16th. I'm Joe Callahan. Sue Tessier and McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times is here. Hello, Sue.
Good morning.
And Bob Lauder could not make it this week, court things and like that. So Dave Richards will be dispensing advice.
All right,
for us.
I'm ready.
Don't get caught.
I'm ready.
And
I have legal advice for you. Stay out of court.
There you go.
There you go.
That's the best thing for you.
Yeah.
We're going to be joined at 8:30 by John Brian as well. Talking
What a
about
great idea.
Service Day.
Haven't seen John
for
about this
Rotary.
long.
All right. So in the meantime, you can call in your comments or questions at 766-1240. I guess the big
I want a
thing-
message from Sue.
How about a message from Sue? Should we do a message from Sue? Sue, are you ready to do a message?
Am I ever
Ready as she'll
really
ever be.
ready? Okay, so as I say every single week, and people still go to our old office, we have
Because it
moved
says the call
to
on.
154 Main Street.
Old habits are hard to
across
break, you know.
From City Hall. Excuse me?
Old habits are hard to break.
Tell me about it.
Are they banging on the door down there? Hello?
Well, no, because there is a sign there. But
All right.
so what's been happening is people park across the street and then proceed to walk in search of our new office.
But
Okay.
they're already on the right side of the street.
They're on the
If they're on the Mullen-
they had
if
to
they're in the
cross
Mullen
back.
parking lot.
Yeah, but they had to cross back
Yes.
because they went to the door first. So
Okay.
there is a parking lot adjacent to our building, which is across from City Hall. It's 154 Main Street. We are there pretty much daily from 8 a.m. until 3 to 3:30. The hours were shortened in office due to the fact we have that person now goes in earlier to get much of her work done. So again, it's 154 Main Street. We have recently announced the winners of our Mother's Day contest. There is a person
Did I
that
win?
has not yet replied to me. His name is, all I can tell you is Jose F. I emailed the customer, have not heard back yet. You won a gift certificate, which is
Yeah, but
in
when you
the
get an
office.
email like that, do you believe it, Sue?
Well, that's the problem. Maybe I shouldn't
I
have
mean,
put,
Home Depot and Lowe's have
I
been
think I
mailing these
put-
to me all the time.
I think I put Yeah, but if you didn't enter a contest at
I
Home
didn't.
Depot and Lowe's, then you know you didn't win. This person entered a contest.
Or maybe someone
So-
entered for him.
So, well, maybe. But anyway, Jose F., you want a gift certificate,
Jose, can
which
you
is
see
in the
your
office.
email where you won?
I believe it says congratulations.
Don't they all?
Maybe that was the problem. Maybe I should have said,
Hey, guess what?
right?
No, I got a great subject line for you. Send them another email. This is not a hoax.
Right?
Oh, yeah, that works too.
Yeah, that'll end up in spam.
All right. Well, very good. And things are working out down there at the new
Yes.
digs so far for
Yep.
you guys. All right.
We get
Very
busier
good.
and busier every day.
All right. So how about this story on the 7 former and current U.S. Postal Service workers down there in Providence allegedly stealing the mail? It makes it so you don't want to put anything through the mail. I mean, you were always told years ago, "Oh, never put cash through the mail." My older brother is still waiting for $5 from his grandmother that she put in the mail, 1972.
Wow.
It still has not arrived. We don't know where it is. So, but from what I read,
I know where it is.
it's been spent.
It's in a backpack.
That's right. But as I read the story, though, I said, well, they knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. So it seems because you search out the brightly, not the white envelopes, but the brightly colored envelopes, especially at holiday time. So anything red, purple, green,
Lavender.
lavender.
Chartreuse.
Well, they'd have been
like
awful
that.
disappointed to grab my red envelopes because I'm not sending gift cards to anybody.
I don't normally send gift cards to the mail, but I guess
Wow.
some people do.
No, even my family, if I give them, a check for their birthday,
Yeah.
I deliver the card with the check
Yeah,
or the gift card.
That's the right way. Hand it to
Yeah,
them.
I don't. I'm not sending it
Yes, but however,
across the country. So for me, they would have opened my envelopes
Yeah.
from Christmas cards and been quite disappointed.
well, but you can look at it this way. Now, my daughter is graduating from high school in a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and we're putting together a little graduation party for her. She invited her cousin who lives in Burlington, Vermont, or in that general area. She cannot make it.
Okay.
So she dropped the card in the mail and put a check in the card.
Well, those are common things that
Oh, right.
happen.
But but the like Dave said, the color of the envelope was a chartreuse or
Yeah, but that's
So
why I
it-
say
it-
for
now it
my
stands out.
envelopes, they were disappointed.
Yeah.
Because there were no checks, gift cards, or cash.
So now I guess the object is when you're picking out a card, look around for white envelopes because they're nondescript,
Well, because there's too many of them.
and there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll slip by, but
Joe,
yeah,
too many also means a lot.
right. Thank you. Let me write that down. So, but like most, they got caught, and like most people that they do it once, and they don't get caught. All right, let's do it again, and we don't get caught.
Yep.
Let's keep doing it. All right, they're not catching on, or so they think.
Right.
And that's when the investigation starts because people start complaining, hey, this card or whatever has not shown up.
Right. Too many.
Too many are not
went
showing
missing.
up.
Yeah.
And or showing up, and I don't know, the card or the envelope has been like retaped, and it looks like it's been opened.
Yeah. Right.
So now the investigation starts, and the investigations always go on for a few months. So they're just watching to see, hey, what's going on?
And it's funny because let's just say, like you just mentioned, your daughter graduating, okay?
Yep.
So when you have a baby shower, Burlington, Vermont, my husband's family's from there.
Okay.
So now they talk to you on the phone to say, hey, I can't make it. I'm going to send a gift in the mail. Now you don't get said gift in the mail. You don't
Yeah.
get an envelope. What do? Do you call that person and say, hey, you
Did
said you were
did
sending
did you
this.
send it? Yeah.
Where is it? Yeah, I mean, when you think about it. So
Yeah.
it's partly hard to catch on in that respect because most people won't call the recipient to say, hey, where's my gift card?
That's right.
They're not going to say it. So,
And the other thing, the sender used to always check their canceled checks.
no, they don't.
You don't get canceled checks in the mail anymore unless you go to the institution and request
That's right.
canceled checks. So, and I know I don't
Right.
request canceled checks. It's just, no,
And
everything's fine.
And of course, if it's a bill that you're trying to pay, and then you get a late charge on said bill, and you say, "Oh no, hold up! I know I sent
Right.
this."
Yeah, that's different.
Right, and now try telling them, "Well, there was this big theft ring in our state, so maybe they took it."
Well, all kinds of strange things happen
Yeah.
after it leaves. I remember as a young boy sending my first experience with sending something in the mail. It was from a cereal box, and you had to take
yeah?
your box top and put it with, I think, a quarter or something like that in an envelope and send it to somewhere in Minnesota. And
What were you trying to get?
I forget.
Okay.
But I remember I never heard
Finger
from them
puppet.
again. And
You never got what you said?
never got
Really?
and never heard from them again. And I just had no interest in using the U.S. mail well into my adulthood. Then when you're in business, well, you gotta kind of, that's the way it is. But we are presently waiting because the IRS made a mistake. They admit they made a mistake, but in order to fix it, they need documentation and stuff you have to send to them. So I sent them the documentation, or copies of the documentation, obviously. I'm not going
It's
to
up-
send them originals.
It's up to you to prove they made a mistake?
I did, that they made the mistake.
Wow.
Well, their computer did.
All right.
They changed the corporate name here for ON Radio is O-N space Radio Inc. That's the corporate name. That's the name that the state of Rhode Island certified and is on our certificate of good standing. But somewhere after 30 some odd years of being ON Radio Inc. with the IRS, they did a migration of information. Somebody says, oh, that's wrong. That hyphen should be after the N. And they changed it without talking to us. After a while, we started getting these people telling us, yeah, the IRS doesn't know you.
Uh-huh.
And I
That
said,
could
of
be
course
good
they
or
do.
bad.
Of course they do. They cash a big check every 3 months. They know us. And so it has taken months, but they eventually said, "Yep, that could happen. Right, we get it. In order for it, there's a procedure because nefarious people could be trying to spoof this, that, and the other thing. There's a procedure, and you have to show us these kinds of documents. And they got to be certified this way. And don't send the originals. Send copies. You got to send them someplace in Kansas City." I sat at the end of a dead end road, and it ends up in the bottom of a filing cabinet or something like that. I don't know, but so I'm no fool. When I've dealt with the FCC, I always send paper documents, registered mail, return receipt requested, and I pay the extra buck, and I give them a little receipt, and then as soon as somebody signs for it, which they have to sign for it, they send back the receipt, and I know they got it, and I got proof they got it. It's helped me out with the FCC in the past because when they lose something, then you say, "Hey, I got it right here."
Right.
Okay, and this is who signed for it. Illegible.
Yeah,
But
really.
somebody signed for it.
There's a nice line.
Yeah. So anyway, this was 2 weeks ago. We have not received the receipt back for the information we sent to the IRS. So I'm saying to myself,
No one
well,
wants to sign for it.
Right.
I don't
well,
wanna-
maybe
I don't-
that's it.
I
Huh?
don't want to take responsibility for this.
Maybe that's it. Hey, you asked for documents. I'm going to send them the best way. I paid the extra dough, and that's what they're going to do. Well, so this all hooks into what we were saying with the U.S. Postal Service. Sometimes you try your best to trust,
Yeah.
and then this sort of baloney happens. And now they have the gangs in Boston and Providence. They club these letter carriers over the head and take the keys for the outside boxes.
You want the master key.
Right. So now you can get into all of these places and have your pick
Yep.
of whatever it is inside that somebody sent, trusting it was going to be delivered to the other end.
Yeah.
So when you can't trust the U.S. mail, where's it going?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it involves a handbasket.
Yeah.
Yep.
In our story, one of the defendants was caught with a backpack, had $1.3 million worth of checks
Imagine that.
in just one backpack. Wow. So this was
So now, with those, with those checks, who's cashing them?
I don't know.
So that goes right back to, there's somebody else, that could be, any, I won't say a bank because some banks are pretty tough. I mean, I won't even I go to the Bank Rhode Island, like, regularly. I won't even go to a new teller. and I'll say it. I would just walk in. I'm like, nope, not going to the newbie, and
I'll wait.
So they know you.
Yeah.
So if a person's walking into a bank, they know your name is Joe, and you're cashing a check for Stephanie. How do they do that?
I don't know. Do they just maybe they look at the amount?
No.
No?
They take their cell phone, take a picture of the check, and deposit it
Oh, that way.
electronically.
Yeah.
Deposit electronically. Some will, some won't, but the ones that do, you made money.
Right. But now that's also another paper trail
Yeah.
without being paper.
No, it isn't. You use a burn phone. They can't
those
even
do
trace
it?
it to you.
But it
They
still
can't
needs
even
to go to
trace
the
it you.
bank. So what I'm saying is there are entities that cash checks. I just see the signed check cashing service.
Yeah. Maybe they don't care.
Exactly.
Or they look at it, or they look at the amount, and if it's under 100, okay. If it's 1,000, okay, then we'll worry about it. But
Right.
if it's a small amount, here you go.
Yep.
Here you go. And we just keep going to
'Cause-
different places.
Exactly.
So they were caught, and we'll see what happens with these people. When I did look at the names of the people that were caught, one of them actually said supervisor too.
Yeah. There was a supervisor.
That was one of the 7 that was involved. I'm like, wow, okay. Well, we'll move on from that, and we'll take a break here in the Coffee Aid program. So, Sue, time for a second message from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times.
Seriously.
Seriously. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
So, If you are missing a copy of the paper, you're looking for a back edition of the paper. We do go back not as far as we once did due to the new location, but you can stop in our office at 154 Main Street. You can call Christina if you need a legal or an obituary or a memoriam ad, which would be 767-8503. You can call me with any questions, and I can try to direct you in the right place, which is 487-4136. That's my cell phone because I do work out on the road. Again, 487-4136.
Okay, Sue, thanks. And the coffee and program will continue here on ON Radio.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up gołąbki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with RE/MAX Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial. And he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first. And he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
It's Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here along with Dave Richards. Bob Lauder could not be here. Sue Tester McKenzie is here as well. And what are you hearing, Sue, about the tax increase in the city?
All right. I said we'll discuss this off air, but why not? So, and I don't know all the specifics. I just happened to catch it this morning. And on the news said that the increase, if you're paying $3,000 in taxes, that the increase would be $120 a year.
All right.
Now, that breaks down to $10 a month. Now, don't get me wrong. Nobody wants a tax increase. Let's face it. It is what it is. But $10 a month, and then in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, everybody was talking about how renters can't afford an increase, so on and so forth. And it's infuriating to think that a property owner would jack your rent because you have to spend an extra $10 a month.
But they might.
Right, for $10 a month,
Yeah.
you're going to increase somebody's rent. When let's face it, it's already an issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's an issue for many, many, many people. So yeah, that's just my take. I mean, again, emphasizing nobody wants a tax increase, but past administrations have touted the fact they didn't have to increase. I mean, this goes back years and years and years, and not just past, but way past. And there comes a time everybody wants, and it's got to be spread out. I don't know what else to say, but it does not justify property owners to increase rent when it's $10 out of pocket.
Dave, you're a property owner here in the city of Woonsocket. Are those numbers sound about right from what you've heard?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to like what I say, but you asked me for my opinion, so I'll respond.
Yeah.
I expected worse.
Really? Okay.
Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you see all this money they're refunding people. every single council. They have special council meetings that weren't even planned just to refund people who were unfairly taxed in the past by the previous administration. This money's coming from somewhere, and it's coming from the future, and you still got to run the place. I looked at Chris Beauchamp, who is in the unenviable position of having to be the mayor right now, and I said to myself, not to him. Later on, I said part of it to him. You know, this guy is he's got the short end of the stick. This guy couldn't win if he tried.
Yeah.
This guy couldn't win if if he had, God on his side. He couldn't win because this guy has no choice but to make up for all the I'll say mistakes to be charitable, mistakes in the past that have cost the city money. He's got to make up for that money and still run the city into the future with inflation running rampant and being denied by your federal government. And so I said, this guy couldn't win on a bet. And then when he decided he was going to run for election to mayor, I said to myself, whoa, this guy's a lot braver than I ever would have given any human being credit for, because I know he's not stupid. I mean, I've known him since, he first ran for council many years ago. And he's a smart man who got himself caught in the middle. He's also an honorable man, doesn't walk away from friends, even when friends are in trouble. I identify with that. He tries to balance everybody's ideas and needs. I really think the world of Chris Beauchamp as a human being, but I think he's absolutely nuts running for mayor because the guy's going to have nothing but a plate full of trouble from months before, and he's not, there's just no way around it. The problem is got to be cured with money, and he's got to get it someplace from people who don't want to give it to him. So knowing all of that and hearing now of a tax increase that's moderated, and of course, this is only discussion at this point. It has not been brought before the city council. The city council has not even accepted the budget which would require it. And the city council is the one who's going to put the stamp on it, even if it is required. To come in with a tax increase that low is less than I expected. How's that for an answer? Aren't you glad you asked?
No, that's a good answer. Okay.
And I'm the one that's got to pay it.
Well, yeah. Yes. So would you put Chris Beauchamp then in the kind of in the same category that Leo Fontaine was in when he was mayor and he had to come out with the supplemental tax bill?
Yeah.
So this
I would in this way.
Yeah.
Although it's worse for Chris. It is worse for Chris, and I'll explain why I say that. Leo Fontaine was sitting mayor as the problem was developing.
Okay.
And he received it while it was on his watch. And the problem was caused by the school department, which was overspending profusely and lying about it. And he really legally couldn't do much about it. It was one of those things that he didn't do it. He couldn't have stopped it, but he was holding the bag. And that's what happens when you're in high elected office. Sometimes you're just holding the bag. And so that happened to Leo. John Ward's not being reelected to the council right after all that hit the fan was also holding the bag. He happened to be there. It happened on his watch, and he ended up with the flack. Chris Beauchamp also couldn't have done anything about it if he had known, and most credible sources believe that Chris did not know that the problem was developing. So in that way, Chris couldn't see it coming. And he could not have predicted that he was going to end up being mayor either.
Okay.
Nobody saw that coming. So, yeah, it's worse for Chris because he had no prep time. And it was worse for Leo in a way because he saw it coming and couldn't do a darn thing about it. So it is slightly different, but great similarities. Yeah, they're both holding the bag.
All right, we did have a note that was called in at 766-1240. Just to the panel, they should put a cap on rent increase. This is an ongoing problem
Thank
that
you,
should
Mr.
be
Nixon.
solved. No one knows what to do about it. Do rent?
You're right. I mean, you can't
Right.
get blood out of a stone,
Yeah.
and but at the same time, a property owner. I'm not talking about the big corporate ones. They've got resources there, but you've got a lot of people who just happen to own a triple decker. It's a part of their retirement plan, where they could just, flip it off later on when they got to be liquid. There's a lot of people out there who are good human beings who happen to own property that they rent out. And those people don't have the resources of the large corporations that go in for the tax deals and things like that.
Right.
They don't. And so you can't get blood out of a stone both ways.
Yeah.
If the city increases the taxes and you're barely getting by now, then you have to look at rent increases. You just have to.
And
I
those are
mean,
the people
The number of dollars coming in has got to equal the number of dollars going out.
but those are also the people that are charging normal rents. Now, what is a normal rent?
Well, that's
years
tough to
and
say.
years
Yeah.
ago, my parents, they lived right down on Willow Street,
Right,
and this had to be at least 20 years.
right.
And they were paying, I'm just going to use numbers, say $500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 20 years ago, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure.
And a person bought the property, increased it by like more than double.
Right.
Of course, my parents can't live there anymore.
Right.
At the time, my sister was planning on buying a house, so she got a duplex, my parent, whatever. But part of it is all about price gouging, and that started fairly recent that it got worse and worse and worse. Understanding you have to cover your rent, your mortgage, you have to cover that as a property owner, your taxes, your water, your sewer. You have to cover all of that. But some people are just buying a property, not considering everything, and then saying, oh, damn, I didn't realize I had to pay a sewer bill, too, or I didn't realize.
yeah, that's right.
And you're
Water.
not thinking it through. It's like buying a business. You
yeah,
got to
keep in
think
mind,
it
though,
through long term.
And this goes for anybody who buys a business.
Yeah.
And a tenement house, if you don't live there, is close enough to saying you bought a business.
Absolutely.
And if you do that, you now have a mortgage.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You have
The
to pay the
person
mortgage.
before you didn't have a mortgage because they paid it off and then they cashed out. And so the cost of operating that building has now gone up by the cost of the mortgage, which could be 5 figures a month.
Yep.
And so now you got to get that money from somewhere. You get it from the tenants. And if the tenants can't pay, you got to get new tenants who can pay. And I'm not saying this is right. It is terribly wrong, but it's not necessarily evil.
I'm not saying it's evil. What I'm saying is much of it is price gouging. I stand by that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you have a mortgage, like you say, you have a business, and you have business expenses. So you have to take all of that. Part of the problem is some of these rents that are, 15 plus in areas that aren't exactly inviting. So now where do you get the people that can afford that because they don't
Yeah.
want to live in the uninvited area?
Right.
So there's got to be something needs to be done. When it comes to buying a property, I mean, you just have to look at all aspects. I see people buying businesses every single day. They don't plan ahead. They're in it for 2, 3, 4 months and then realize,
They wanna flip
damn,
it?
I have a lot of
flips.
expenses.
Yes.
So you have to plan all the way through. But to say, oh, well, I'll just keep increasing my rent so I can make money and pay my bills isn't exactly the way to go into it, I guess is what I'm saying. That's
Right.
not how you
Well,
go
you would
into
hope
buying a
that they would
business.
have a feeling for the people they're displacing with their decisions, and I think we all would hope that they do. But
Right,
we all
but it doesn't
know
always work that way.
That many don't.
No.
All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program, and it's time for a look at the weather forecast.
Is our guest here, Joe?
Yes.
Oh.
And the weather being brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Rain decreasing and ending today, high of 59. Tonight, patchy fog between midnight and 1 a.m., mostly cloudy skies, overnight low of 50. Friday's weather, mostly sunny with a high of 73. Saturday, mostly cloudy and 64. Sunday, partial sunshine, 65. Monday, mostly sunny and 70. Tuesday, mostly sunny and 77. And next Wednesday, partial sunshine, 75.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street. Clouds, rain, and 56 degrees. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
There is a new lower-priced menu at Fast Eddie's Cocktails and Dreams. They now offer burgers, meatloaf, and on Fridays, fish and chips along with clam cakes and your choice of white or red clam chowder. And be sure to try Chef Paulie's world-famous steak tips. Fast Eddie's Cocktails and Dreams is open for lunch and dinner Thursday through Saturday. Follow them on Facebook to see the week's lunch and dinner menu and specials that are posted on Thursdays. Fast Eddie's Cocktails and Dreams, 350 River Street, Woonsocket.
Lou Mandeville here to tell you the only place to get your local high school and college scores, as well as the Pats, Bruins, Celtics, and Sox is on my morning sports reports. And they are right here on ON 1240, Monday through Friday on the Morning Fun Show.
This portion of the Coffee and program is sponsored by attorney Bob Lauder. When you need a skilled attorney who will fight for your rights, look no further than attorney Bob Lauder of Woonsocket. If your legal questions revolve around estates or trusts, then talk to Bob. If you're contemplating a divorce, then talk to Bob. Attorney Bob Lauder has a calming demeanor, which is very helpful in legal matters. And Bob has more than 40 years' experience practicing law. Call attorney Bob Lauder today at 401-762-4550, 762-4550. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. It's Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards, Sue Tessier, and McKenzie, and we're being joined by State Rep John Brian.
Who just happens, Joe, to be a member of our Woonsocket Rotary Club, like so many of our community leaders are.
Look at his shirt.
Yes, look at that. He's got the Rotary
shirt.
wheel on there.
That's right.
He's all geared up.
We asked John to come in because it is Rotary Day of Service on Saturday.
That is correct, Joe, and thanks for having me. Dave, thanks for having
national, right?
me. This is international.
International, yeah.
So, yes, I am a state representative, but today I come to you in your studio as a Rotarian. I'm the incoming president of the Woonsocket Rotary Club, and so I'm looking forward to that. That will happen at our charter night on June 20th, so that's when the transition will happen, and I will become the president. And for now, I am here to tell you about the Rotary Day of Service. I'm really excited about this.
How many years have they been doing a Rotary Day of Service?
This, I'm not really sure. I know that this year is a big push to really promote the Day of Service. I mean, we do every year. We have been doing some type of coordinated day, but this, as far as I can remember, this is a day that has been promoted like this. And what this is really exciting. It's on Saturday, May 18th, is going to be 800 Rotary Clubs and 30,000 Rotarians across 10 states, 7 countries, from Connecticut to Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Jersey, New York, in the United States, plus Australia, Bermuda, Brazil, Canada, and the Netherlands, as well as United Kingdom, volunteering in their communities for the Rotary Day of Service. And this, of course, as you guys know, the motto of Rotary is service above self, and this really is what it's all about. Rotary members get together in their own communities throughout the world and determine how they can best serve on this day, and then they come up with a project and they execute it on Saturday, and Woonsocket Rotary is no exception.
Looks like a logistic nightmare trying to get Rotarians in different countries, never mind just the states, to all
Right.
agree. Yeah, the May 18th is a good day.
I know. I can't even. Sometimes you can't even get a meeting with 7 people involved there and try to figure out a good day or time. But to have all these clubs involved in the same day is really, it's really amazing. And Rotary International is an amazing organization. It really is one of the joining Rotary. I can tell you is probably one of the greatest things that I've ever done. It's really helped me to develop as a person, as a member of the community, as a friend. I've made friendships in Rotary that will last a lifetime. It's really exciting. But our day of service this Saturday, Joe, is going to be a collection drive, and that's going to be held at the Woonsocket Middle School at Hamlet. That's 60 Florence Drive, and that's from 9 to 12. And what we're asking you is that you please come and you donate clothing, books, eyeglasses, and medical equipment. And what do we mean by medical equipment? Old crutches, canes, walkers, things like that. But no motorized anything, scooters or wheelchairs or anything like that. So we'll be there from 9 to 12.
But the push wheelchairs are okay?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And anything like that. And so we'll be there to collect that from you, and we'll be happy to do that. And
Now, what will Rotary do with it?
that will be ultimately be donated to where it needs to go. So the clothing will be turned into, depending on the clothing, we have many of the projects that Rotary does, and if I can elaborate a little bit about what we do here in the city and in the communities we service, which is Woonsocket, North Smithfield, and Burrillville. For instance, if we get some good children's clothing or teen clothing, we'll use it for our Just For You clothing closet here in Woonsocket. And what that is we service foster kids, underprivileged kids, and homeless children, so that they can come into a store like atmosphere and shop for absolutely nothing and get clothing, get outfits, get toiletries, get essentials. And so we help make sure that the kids, because there's so many services for veterans and for the homeless, but how many places work on clothing children and making sure that they're okay. So we'll do that. And then some of the things that we do as well, Joe, is our Birthday in the Bag program here in Woonsocket and Burrillville, in which there are children who are identified not by name but by gender and age for privacy's sake. And we provide them with what's known as the Birthday in a Bag. We give them a birthday cake, a certificate for a large cheese pizza, all the decorations for a birthday party. We give them snacks, party favors, as well as the age-appropriate gift that they would want. And we provide that to the parents so that no kid should go without a birthday party on their birthday. That's really important for a kid. And then in Burrillville, another community we service, we do our annual Christmas party for our seniors, our Adopt a Senior, which we do at the Overlook Nursing Home, and make sure that every senior has a Christmas present. And we work with restaurants and other establishments throughout the local area to make sure that happens. I mean, so Rotary is and we never stop. We have our golf tournament coming up on June 22nd to raise money for our endeavors, and that's going to be at Crystal Lake Golf Club at 1:30 on June 22nd. And if anyone's interested, $135 per player, and you can get involved and you can be a part of the golf tournament, and we'd love to see you there. Support all the good causes that Rotary does, and you can find more at the WoonsocketRotary.com.
In terms of Saturday, when you get together with your Rotarians, is this an all hands on deck kind of thing? We need everybody that's in Rotary to be down at the middle school, ready to help?
Yeah, every project that we do with Rotary is all hands on deck. There's nothing that we do that is light. Everyone is always involved in, and so we always say, in other words, we are working on cleaning up the Rotary plot, and we're going to be putting up new signage and all that at the intersection of Hamlet and Cumberland. And we had a real hands-on project a few weekends ago, and it was, if you have power tools that you can bring, if you have shovels, if you have whatever, if you just want to be a sidewalk supervisor, if you want to sweep, if you want to just move stuff around, like everyone has a role. Everyone can be involved. And that's the thing about Rotary. Rotary is a beautiful organization in which you can be as involved as you want, and you make the club what it is that you want it to be, and you can. And I will tell you, when I first got involved in Rotary, and I joke about this with Nicole all the time. When I first got involved, I noticed that Rotary was doing all these things, and I was like, oh man, I'm just here for the lunch, and I said that too. I actually said that. I was like, I'm just in this for the lunch, because we meet at River Falls every Thursday at 12:15. And then, here we are, fast forward, 7 years later, I'm going to be club president. And, Nicole is going to be the district governor of Rotary, she's going to oversee 65 clubs in all of Rhode Island, southeastern Mass, and the islands. I mean, it's really, it really is, it's an organization that just makes you feel good, makes you grow, and makes you want to be a better person and a better member of the community. And I mean that. I've come a long way from just being in it for the lunch.
But the lunches are still
I was
spectacular.
just going to say, although lunch sounds pretty good right now.
And the lunches are great, and I would encourage anyone that's in the listening audience. You don't have to be a Rotarian to come to our lunch. If you're curious about Rotary, if you're interested in what we do, if you want to meet some of our people, if you just want to come down and say, "Hey, is this for me?" Do it. You can contact me. You can contact any Rotarian. You can go to the Woonsocket Rotary page. You can show up at our weekly luncheon, and we're always looking for new members. You don't have to. It's not like it used to be. Rotary used to be where there were people that everyone involved were older males who were business owners and wealthy in the community. That is no longer the that is and that was it. And that is no longer the case. We have a very diverse group of members, and we're always looking for new members. And anyone that just wants to see their community be better and help in any way they can be a Rotarian, and I think that you realize you get a lot out of it. I know I have. All
right, Dave or Sue, do you have any questions off the top of your head for John?
What's for lunch? I'm just kidding.
Well, no, and it's something different every the way it works is we pay a price and you have choices, and they have been great. And I don't want to go too far here, Dave, because I know with advertising, but I wanted to say that the new management has been great. They've treated us great. They are happy that we're there.
We echo that comment about the new management at River Falls.
They are.
They've treated us great.
Yeah, they are fantastic.
We have our Christmas party there.
And
very nice.
They were more than happy. We had to vacate our home at River Falls for a small period of time.
That's right. They had some construction that they had to take
we
care
did
of.
that, and there was some management issues with the previous owners. So we had to vacate, but we approached them when they first started back with the new management, and they accepted us with open arms. And we are so happy to be there, and that is our home, and we welcome anyone to come and visit us and come to a Rotary meeting.
All right. In terms of the Rotary Day of Service coming this Saturday, the other Rotary clubs around Rhode Island, will they all be collecting the same things you're collecting, or are they collecting different stuff?
They're doing that, and that's what's so great about this. Everybody will be doing different projects. Everybody will be doing something different, something they identify in their community as a need, something that they think is important. Right. Some people will be doing trash pickup. Some people will be planting. Some people will be, there is a different project in all of the communities in which the Rotary clubs will be participating. There's a different need in every community. There's a different set of people and members in the communities that get serviced. And so, everyone is different. Every club is different. And here we made a determination this is the best way to help so that we can donate what we get to various organizations once we, figure out what we have. And And then and that's how we figured it was best to help here in Woonsocket, North Smithfield, and Burrville. But every club is different. Every community is different.
Cumberland and Lincoln does not have the same issues as Woonsocket does.
That is correct. And neither does, and in our district, we are District 7950. It's such an incredibly varied group of clubs. You've got clubs from Weymouth. You've got clubs from the Cape, and Bourne. And certainly the Bourne Club doesn't have the same type of problems in their communities that we do here in Woonsocket. So everybody, but they do, have people to service. And so every community is different. Every club is different. Every member is different. And that's what makes Rotary so strong.
They could go clean up the beach down there in the Cape and the Islands.
What a problem.
Yeah, it is a tough problem to have.
I'm going to put John on the spot, by the way, and it's something that he knows very well. Because I know every good Rotarian knows this. And I know it pretty well from looking on from a distance, although I was never able to be in Rotary. The creed that you have. There's phrases in there that just resonate with any good-minded person who might be listening to us today. Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
The four-way test, isn't it?
It's the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it? Is it?
Is it fair to all?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Right.
God, Dave.
I put him on the spot.
All right,
I shouldn't have
hold
done
on.
that. I
Hold
shouldn't
on.
have done that.
All right, that's
But
the
I
beauty
just-
of Google.
We are talking about Rotary Days, and we're talking about our Rotary Club, and people have heard about it for a long, long time, but they may not realize, even if they know a Rotarian, they may not realize how deeply rooted these words are in the hearts of Rotarians.
And I've got it. It's so the four-way test for Rotary is the things that Rotarians think, say, and do. And is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
There you go.
And that's really, between those tenets of the four-way test and service above self is truly what we live by. And it's something that I've learned to live by, and it's something that I really enjoy. And I really hope people will come out this Saturday from 9 to 12. Middle school at Hamlet. Again, if I can, Joe, clothing, books, eyeglasses, and medical equipment. And by the way, what we'll do with the eyeglasses is that if you bring eyeglasses to us, we're going to give those eyeglasses to our local Lions Club, who are always,
Of course.
and that's one of the beauties of Rotary and the other local service organizations. We work together as much as possible because you're stronger together. And so, however, we can find ways to leverage each other's strengths and needs. That's what we do. So we look forward to helping the Lions, and we always collect eyeglasses at our drives whenever we can.
All right, we're going to take a break here in the Coffee Ant program, and this portion of Coffee Ant has been sponsored by attorney Bob Lauder. When you need a skilled attorney who will fight for your rights, look no further than attorney Bob Lauder of Woonsocket. If your legal questions revolve around estates or trusts, then talk to Bob. If you're contemplating a divorce, then talk to Bob. Attorney Bob Lauder has a calming demeanor, which is very helpful in legal matters, and Bob has more than 40 years' experience practicing law. Call attorney Bob Lauder today at 401-762-4550, 762-4550. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice.
Hi, I'm Kathy LaValle at The Honey Shop. Check out our Facebook page at The Honey Shop RI, and there you'll see a whole list of our new classes and lots of fun things to do. You could join us for making limoncello, pizzas, pasta making, cheese making, so many fun things to do and learn.
Thanks, Kathy. Folks, if you love food, you'll love the Honey Shop, right behind the Dunkin' Donuts at Park Square in Woonsocket.
While doing your spring cleaning this year, be sure to take a look at your gutters. Did they survive the winter? If not, call Ryzen Seamless Gutters of Woonsocket. They offer complete gutter services from meticulous cleaning to expert repairs and installations. Ryzen Seamless Gutters want your gutters to function seamlessly and look great all year long. They were voted gold in ON Radio's Best of the Blackstone Valley for Best Roofing Company. Call Mike Ryzen today for a quote at 401-390-0685, 390-0685 or look them up on Facebook. Ryzen Seamless Gutters, one of the best of the Blackstone Valley.
Hello, my name is Paul LaValle, and I'm from the Woonsocket Council Knights of Columbus. We are sponsoring a scholarship fund raffle tickets that'll benefit the Woonsocket Catholic School Regional School System. There are only 100 tickets being sold. They are $50 each. The first prize is $1,200. The second prize is $500. The third prize is $300. You can contact any Knight of Columbus or myself at 401-651-5533 to purchase tickets. Thank you.
All right, it's Coffee 8 here on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan, along with Dave Richards and Sue Tester McKenzie. State Rep John Brian's here. We're talking about Rotary Day of Service coming up this Saturday, May 18th, from 9 until noon at the Woonsocket Middle School at
And
Hamlet.
what else does he want to talk about?
Well, I do
Like
have a
from
question.
his part-time job in the legislature. Oh, you had a question?
I do have a question for you.
I didn't mean to stop.
When you
that.
came up with what you wanted to collect, did you have to run it by Rotary International? Did they have to approve it? Did they say did they have to put their rubber stamp on it?
No, that and obviously, Joe, that would be a pretty onerous task,
right.
as you can imagine. No, I mean, one thing about the clubs, are part of Rotary International, but they run basically autonomously and along in line with their bylaws of each club, and you've got to adhere to overall Rotary International rules and regulations. But of course, every club is going to do what they think is best, and they're allowed to do so.
All right. You ever have anybody from Rotary International high up come and visit?
We have. Well, we often have, we've had the district governors come to our club. So the district governor, it's something that Nicole, my wife Nicole Breen, will have to do as district governor. You go to every club, you visit every club. That's usually, and sometimes you'll have someone come in from a higher level. So you've got the club level, then you've got the district level, then you've got zone, which is a collection of the districts, and then you've got international. We've had members from Zone come in before and be pretty informative, and it's pretty neat to see what they've got to say. But for instance, a couple weekends ago, we went to a tri-district conference in Massachusetts, and we had someone from Rotary International speak. A couple of guest speakers, really motivational people, and I love those conferences because you've never been surrounded by more positive, well-meaning people in your life than going to a big Rotary conference. It's just amazing, and it's just people that are there to do good. And you wonder, can this be real? Are there this many good people in the world right now? And the answer is yes. And most of them are Rotarians.
Well, when Nicole makes the visit to Martha's Vineyard and Tuckett, and make sure you go with her.
Yeah, well, I already said if you go when it's winter, I'm not going. But make sure you go in the summer, and I'm
Plan
in.
those for July or August.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right. So you're looking forward to your drive, your Rotary Day of Service this coming Saturday. We ask people to bring down clothing, books, eyeglasses. With the eyeglasses, do the glasses have to be in them, or are you just looking for frames?
Frames, whatever condition your glasses are in, bring them down, and we will accept them.
You get an old scratched pair, it's okay. They can put new lenses in them and save somebody money on the frames.
Now, no motorized scooters or wheelchairs, but they will take other medical equipment like your manual wheelchairs, and things like that. So
canes,
so
walkers, whatever you have, even like those. What are those? You push them and it's like a walker, but you push them and you can sit down in them, like those kinds of things.
Yeah, those 4 wheels.
Yeah, whatever it is, we're taking them.
All right, very good. How are things at the State House? Since you are the state rep,
thanks for asking, Joe. Things are ramping up towards this is the push. Matter of fact, starting next week, we're going to 3 days a week. And I think that is because it's an election year, and as usual, the leadership will work to try to get out in early June, as early as possible. We were out by the end of the middle of the third week of June last year. So this year, they're probably going to try to get out the first week of June. I've heard June 13th. So now we're going 3 days a week next year. We're ramping up. But still no heavy lifting on the floor in terms of legislation. We did the law enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights bill last week. That was a debate that lasted about 2.5 hours. But, I mean, that's probably the only lift we've done on the floor this year. Really nothing major. You've got legislation, but you've got your normal inventory of legislation that there's not a whole lot of discussion. It kind of sails through. I like the juicy stuff. I like it when we I like it when we have debate. I like it I like it when things are meaningful. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And of course, the budget day is usually a long legislative day. People lament the budget day. I'm a nerd. I love civics. I love government. And that's one of my favorite days of the legislative year because you can try. Often you will fail, but you can try to make a difference, to make a change, to make the budget better. But more often than not, and I don't mind saying this at all, the budget is a highly orchestrated work done between the leadership of the two chambers in advance, and by the time it hits the floor, the chances of you changing that document are slim to less than zero, unless it's a fundamental change that needs to be made and it was identified after the fact. If you say, well, I don't like this and I want to increase this or put that over there, chances are it's going to get voted down. It seems to always be that way. But you can try, and I like at least to know that I can try to make a difference. And for a civics nerd like me, it's a great day.
Well, there you go. All right.
Some people say it's an act of it's a work of fiction, the budget, but you never know. So now listen, John, since we are talking legislative stuff, just had a story on this morning. We've been hearing now for months, even in the beginning of last year, most people who are in the know down at the State House know that the bad times are coming. We can see a storm on the horizon financially, and we know that the income is not going to match up with the outgo, and there's going to be more pulling on the outgo, and they could just basically see that all that's coming along. But then the big story comes out yesterday. Oh, we got $243 million left over from last year. And I said to myself, and you told somebody? Seriously? Okay, fine. You realize how many hundreds of millions of dollars we're going to be on the hook for, even if the feds pay for 80% of that bridge. And now you're saying you got a surplus? Okay, fine. It probably is it's a mechanical thing that you must report it, but don't get used to it because that's already spoken for in the next budget cycle, isn't it?
Well, I would like to think it's not, but probably is. I am, as you know, Dave, they call me the leader of the independent caucus. That's the caucus consists of me.
You have your meeting in a phone booth.
Yeah. So as leader Brian, the independent caucus, I have about all the power of a general in the Salvation Army, but
that's better than I was thinking. I was going to say cameraman for Capital TV.
They don't exist anymore. Now it's all robots.
I know. But somebody's running the robots.
Yeah. So
it's in a room where you don't see them.
But in reality, the way that it works, and you probably know this, but maybe your listeners don't. There's a thing called the May Revenue Estimating Conference that they have every year, obviously in May, and the finance.
Talk about your works of fiction.
Yeah, and the finance committee gets together and they talk about the amount of money that was brought in and spent, and what's left over, and what is going to look like, and that's how they formulate the budget. And so this came out of the May Revenue Estimating Conference. Now, where I am different from the other legislators that I serve with, Dave, is that we've got $243 million in surplus, we'll call it. Yeah. There's already calls by my colleagues. Well, you've got this much left over. You got to spend it. You got to put it in this social program. You got to put it in that social program.
Well, and why wouldn't you put it in a savings account for a rainy day?
Why wouldn't you put it in the rainy day fund? Why wouldn't and I say this all the time. Rhode Island needs to spend less. We're the smallest state in the country. We should have the smallest social safety net in the country. Let the states like Texas and Florida and California spend the most because they're the largest. We should have the government that we can afford, not the government that we desire. And we would spend a lot less money. You're talking about a $12 billion budget for a state of 1 million people.
I know.
It's crazy. And so, but of course, when I say stuff like that, we should spend less on social services. I'm looked at like a knuckle dragging troglodyte. I mean, people.
You're out of fashion, John.
I know.
Out of fashion. The fashion now is to spend it. Who cares where it's coming from? Where the government will just make more.
We'll print more.
And that's and that is what's going to get us, and ultimately, the dark cloud coming that you talked about at the outset.
What people keep forgetting is that governments can go out of business.
Yes.
Governments can be bankrupt. Look at France. How do you suppose we ended up with the Louisiana Purchase and a third of our land area in this country? Because Napoleon kept prosecuting wars he couldn't pay for, so he sold off all the land.
If you recall, there was once a move to put the city of Woonsocket in receivership. So even local governments, state governments, countries, it's true.
It can happen.
Well, we're running out of time. So, John, real quick, tell us about the Rotary Day of Service on Saturday.
9 to 12. Thank you very much. 9 to 12. It's going to be at the middle school in Hamlet, 60 Florence Drive. We're going to ask that you please come by. We'll see a lot of friendly Rotarians there, a lot of signs. We're going to welcome you with a big smile while we collect your clothing, your books, your eyeglasses.
This is in the auditorium area, right?
It'll be right in the parking lot.
In the
I was
parking
just going
lot.
to say, drive and drop.
Yeah, drive by. Don't you can stop the car. Don't open up the car door and dump it all out on the ground and keep rolling past. Because then you won't get a hug from a
Throw it out
Rotarian.
the window.
But no log rolls or anything like that. But no, your clothing, books, eyeglasses, medical equipment, no motorized scooters or wheelchairs will be there. The Woonsocket Rotary Club collecting your stuff for you, taking care of it. And remember, Woonsocket Rotary. Serving Woonsocket, North Smithfield, and Burrville. We meet every Thursday, 12:15 at River Falls. We'll be there today, no exception. And if you're ever interested in Rotary, look up Woonsocket Rotary. Call me, call a Rotarian, Facebook. We'd love to have love to have you get involved.
John, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it and allowing me to promote Rotary today. And thank you so much.
You got it. And Sue, thanks for coming in.
No problem. I want to let people know I was still here even though I wasn't talking. Have a great end of the week.
That's fine. And Dave, thanks for filling in for Bob.
You're quite welcome, and I'm grateful for the great work that Rotary does in all of Northern Rhode Island. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. And stay tuned for Gary Smith of the crew with Dewey Remembers at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Rhode Island state health officials